Hello and welcome to the Hindu's election cheat sheet series, where we bring you weekly updates on Maharashtra's dynamic poll landscape. I'm your host Suchitra Karthikeyan. With the campaign season nearing its end, it's time to dive into the promises made by the contesting parties in their manifestos. Manifestos reveal the priorities of any aspiring government, and this time freebies dominate the agenda. The BJP, Maha Vikas Aghadi, Shiv Sena UBT, and NCP have all unveiled their blueprints for Maharashtra's future. Let's take a closer look at the key highlights and assess how realistic they are in addressing the state's pressing issues. The BJP's Sankalp Patra emphasizes women, jobs, farmers, and economic growth. Despite PM Modi's criticism of Revdi culture, that is freebies, BJP itself has promised several handouts. These include a blanket loan waiver for farmers, cash support for crops, and a minimum price of Rs 6,000 per quintal for soya bean. For women, the flagship Ladki Bahin scheme will now provide 2,100 rupees per month, up from the current 1,500 rupees. To address unemployment, the BJP proposes a 1,000 rupees monthly stipend for 10 lakh students and a pledge to create 25 lakh new jobs. Alongside, it will also conduct a skill census to align qualifications with job opportunities better. The BJP's most ambitious promise is to transform Maharashtra into a $1 trillion economy by 2028, up from its current value of $465 billion. Key sectors like manufacturing, fintech, artificial intelligence, aeronautics, and space manufacturing are central to this vision. Other promises include subsidized electricity, interest-free loans, free food and shelter for the poor, forest preservation, and an anti-religious conversion law. Let's now look at the Maha Vikas Aghadi's manifesto. The MVA, a coalition of Congress, NCP Sharad Chandra Pawar, and Shiv Sena UBT, has released a joint manifesto named Maharashtra Nama. Free amenities and cash transfers are the cornerstone of their campaign. Free bus travel for women, free medicines, free electricity, and monthly transfers of 3,000 rupees to women and 4,000 rupees to unemployed graduates. Like the BJP, the MVA also promises a farm loan waiver, skill census, housing for all, and forest preservation. However, it also introduces unique measures like a 2-day menstrual leave for women, a caste census, increased SC, ST, OBC representation in the technical sectors, and an expansion of Maharashtra's forest cover up to 25%. The MVA pledges to increase budgets in education and health by 6 and 8% respectively. It also promises to restore the old pension scheme, scrap contract-based jobs in the government sectors, and address the reservation issues regarding Marathas, Dangars, and Muslims. To know how grounded in reality were these promises, The Hindu spoke with Professor Deepa Sinha, a Delhi-based economics professor. Now, in the upcoming Maharashtra elections, a lot of the manifestos by both the BJP-led coalition and the Congress-led coalition are talking about a lot of freebies. And this is something which the BJP has condemned. Particularly in farmers, they both have mentioned a farm waiver loan. So, what are your thoughts about the farm waiver loan in Maharashtra?
As far as farm loan waivers are concerned, again, that is also something that has not been, patented by any single party. Various parties have promised it at various times. What we need to understand is the larger issue of agricultural distress. Why is there such a burden of indebtedness on farmers, and why does this need keep coming up repeatedly? So, as one has always said, farm loan waivers, when there is a situation when farmers are under such great distress, then a loan waiver really seems necessary, because whereas we know that there is the issue of farmer suicides, we know that farmer incomes are very low, we know that there are issues of crop damages and so on now, even related to climate change. So these sort of one-off measures need to be taken. And that is taken even in the case of industry. When there is a fall in the market or when there is a recession, the industry is also bailed out. But additionally, what is required, which is what is not done, is also structural long-term reforms in agriculture such that this situation does not occur again, which is what none of the political parties do. And it seems as if only once in 5 years before elections they remember the farmers. That is the problem.
Okay. Now, BJP has mentioned increasing their that Samman Nidhi which they give to farmers, Kisan Samman Nidhi, from 12,000 to 15,000 per year. The amount seems quite low for the debt which the farmers are already facing. So, and Congress, on the other hand, has mentioned that they want to reduce the population which is dependent on agriculture itself. So, what are your thoughts about these two, like increasing support and reducing the population dependent on agriculture? Is it feasible in an agrarian economy like India?
So actually, if we take a slightly longer term perspective of how development happens, then both of these need to take place. I don't mean Kisan Samman Nidhi, but more investment in agriculture, greater resources in agriculture, so that the productivity and incomes in agriculture go up. At the same time, we also know that agriculture alone cannot provide productive employment for such a large population, given the nature of agriculture itself. So people over time, and this is the experience across the world, move away from agriculture. But that currently, the way it has happened in India is that people are moving away from distress. But the way it should be happening is that agriculture becomes more productive, incomes are growing, people's education is increasing, opportunities are being made available in non-agriculture, and they make a shift. So in terms of goals, both of these are very important. Improving agriculture, creating employment opportunities outside agriculture for people, which is gainful employment.
But the skill set which the agriculture based farmers who are involved in agriculture and other people also, traders and farm laborers, so what kind of shift will they be? Is it feasible for them, because their entire skill set is based on this one occupation? So what kind of move do you envision them feasibly happening?
So once again, we have to think about it also in a more dynamic manner. It's not necessarily only those who are currently working in agriculture, but we are also adding new labor force onto agriculture year on year because no other opportunities are available. So if we take a basic indicator of skill in terms of, say, schooling and school completion, we know that that has been growing quite fast, both amongst men and women. But the labor force in agriculture has not been coming down. So we also have to look at what are the alternate employment opportunities available or not. And that is a big problem, that employment is not being created. So not everyone will become a software engineer or a financial analyst. But if small and medium scale industries are much more prevalent, labor intensive industries, those are the kind of spaces that people will be able to shift to.
And as you mentioned, that the shift from agriculture in such a large population is something which is inevitable. Now, both of these coalitions have mentioned a skill census across Maharashtra, which they are going to do. So, skill census might be happening with the literate community, if I'm not mistaken, because this is something which has not been mentioned before in any of these manifestos. So, what kind of skill census do you think will like help and like create new job opportunities for people here? Because joblessness is a big issue which happened even in Lok Sabha, which was really
Yes.
affected BJP.
So again, the skill census also I feel is a bit of a diversionary tactic. Any census one is good only. It's good to have more information on where people are and what they're doing. So the problem is not with the census itself, but there is a problem with reducing the employment problem in the country to the lack of skills. And that's not how many economists have been looking at it. And even more recent data also shows that a bigger issue is lack of jobs. and lack of jobs because there is not enough demand in the economy. There is no purchasing power. Like we heard recently that the sales of motorcycles have gone down, FMCG products are not growing as fast as they used to grow. That is what needs to be addressed. Of course, enhancing skills is important, but that usually happens through your, I mean, you have to look at the education system, what are the gaps there, and industry also responds to the skill requirements. And I think reducing the entire employment issue to skills alone is actually the issue here.
Issue which the coalition keeps on saying is the Ladki Behan scheme, which they have introduced in Maharashtra. So now it has become kind of a race as to how much cash transfer each coalition will do. Like these people first offered 1,500. Now they have increased it to 2,100. And Congress on the other side is saying we'll give 3,000. So this cash transfer, is it feasible? Because it covers not all the women in the state. Is it feasible on an economy like Maharashtra? And is it actually viable?
It is also a question of choices, right? So if they are doing this, like you said, race for who gives more cash, where is that money coming from? And we see that areas which have always been neglected, like basic health, basic education, basic social sector expenditure, if that is where you're cutting and giving cash transfers, then that I think is a dangerous trend, because in a country like ours where there are still such huge deficits in terms of education, health, nutrition, care, and so on, those direct services are what we should be focusing our attention on. There is a lot of things that need to be done targeting women also, like setting up childcare centers, improving maternity entitlements, which is also a cash transfer, but it is linked to a wage compensation of a particular period of time. Increasing the allocations for the supplementary nutrition, including dal and oil in your PDS. Ensuring Narega works happen. Maharashtra is now showing amongst the least number of works that is being created.
Yes, yes.
Improving the wages given under Narega. More than 50% of workers in Narega are women. So for women, there is a whole host of things that can be done. And by just giving this transfer into a woman's bank to and saying that we are doing something pro women is just not enough, and it's taking away from more important priorities.
Next, let us look at the Shiv Sena, UBT and NCP's individual manifestos. Let's start with the Shiv Sena UBT. The Thackeray-led Shiv Sena faction's Vachan Nama focuses on local issues such as scrapping the Dharavi redevelopment project under the Adani Group, cluster development in Kolivadas and Gautans, and regular job fairs. They also propose establishing a Shivaji Maharaj temple in every district. The NCP has taken a constituency-specific approach, tailoring its promises to local needs. Alongside major points similar to the BJP's manifesto, it commits to building 45,000 rural roads and offering Anganwadi and Asha workers a monthly salary of Rs 15,000. With the 288-seat Maharashtra Assembly elections slated for November 20th and the results due on November 23rd, voters face critical decision to make. Stay tuned for more updates as we track the promises, politics and performance of this Maha battle. Thank you.